And we're live. Hi, everybody.
Hey!
Hey! We're live!
Hey! Welcome to Trailer Time.
Welcome to Trailer
PJ,
Talk.
we're live. Can you hear me? PJ.
I'm in a bad mood today. I'm in a bad mood today.
Why? What happened?
I'm
Do you want to talk about it?
I didn't sleep well. I had an argument with Marisa. I'm still in a bad mood. So I'm in a bad mood.
Well, you know what? Maybe it was, and you were in the upside down, and now we're going to bring you in the right side up. That's how we do that. That's how we segue.
So. A good community always makes you feel better.
That's right. Yeah, come on. CouchSoup community, make PJ feel good by donating to Ukraine.
Yes.
I mean, that's an inside jab. No one got that.
No,
but it made me chuckle. So
It made all of us happy.
got me right here.
yeah,
Got me right here. I laughed inside. Right
I
here.
know you did.
Yeah.
It's been Matt Kaler. It's been 84 years since the last season. True enough. So we're today, guys. Earlier today, Netflix decided like, hey, it's been long enough. It's time for us to really get a look at Stranger Things season 4. It's been 3 years, I think, since the last season ended. So if you don't remember what the fuck happened, I mean that's okay. I mean, I don't remember what I ate for breakfast 3 days ago, let alone what the hell happened on
Stranger Things,
the Stranger Things season 3. So, well, I kind of did a little research. I had enough time to kind of like look at what did happen, and it all kind of came back to me. So here's what went down last season on
Brilliant.
season
Before
A
you
true
say
recap.
that,
Let's
listen.
go.
Wait a second. Wait a
Yeah,
second.
go.
Before
Okay, gotcha.
you say that,
Yeah.
this is my jam, right? It's the 80s. It's
Yep.
the
Okay.
sci-fi, man. This is my. I hung out with Millie Brown backstage at Comic-Con. This is my thing. I've never seen this shit series.
You've never seen Stranger Things?
Wow.
And it's your jam?
That needs
And
to
it's
change.
my
do we
jam.
need to
I
do
tried to watch the
full
first
recap?
couple episodes of season 1, and it didn't grab me. And the girls went and watched it, and I'm like, God, I'm
Did they
supposed
like
to
it?
like this. Oh, they loved it.
Yeah.
But so I watched the trailer to prep, and halfway through the trailer, I'm like, ugh. But the end of the trailer got me going. Oh shit! I think I do need to watch this. So
Yeah.
I don't want you to spoil anything.
You should. See you later, my friend.
I feel like PJ has left the chat. Take care,
Yeah.
PJ. Like, just take the
It's good
headphones
having you,
off,
mate.
buddy. As soon as you watch the trailer,
Yeah.
just be like, cool, looks great, and take the headphones off. 'Cause-
Yeah, okay, I'm going to turn my
So,
headphones
go
off
binge.
while you do the
Go binge.
recap. Okay, I'm going to
Okay,
turn. You do the
fair. We'll
recap,
give you a
and then
visual
give me a
signal.
thumbs up when I can come back on. Please
Okay.
let me come back on.
It'll be in 45
I
minutes.
can't hear a
when I can
fucking
do
word you're saying,
Yeah.
and I know you're talking about me. I know you're
so,
saying shit about me right now.
we
Because
totally
Steph
are.
is
We
laughing
could
her
still
ass
hear
off.
you, though. It's unfortunate. So, spoilers, if you haven't watched the first 3 seasons of Stranger Things, here's what happened at least in the last 10 minutes of Stranger Things season 3. So they were brought again. Once again, the Upside Down came back to Hawkins, right? They thought it was like, we defeated the evil. No, of course not. They're back. And basically it's centered around Starcourt Mall, which was like the center
Yes,
point
yeah.
of everything that went down. If you remember, it was
Yeah.
like a really cool mall. And it actually was like, and they had like a secret underground Russian military base underneath the
pretty
mall,
cool.
which was pretty dope. Especially like only in the 80s would the Russians be like, we're going to build an underground base
Yeah.
in the bottom of a mall in the middle of nowhere. Amazing. And at the end of the season, Jim Hopper, who is the cop who kind of adopted Eleven, who is our hero, sacrificed himself to save the world. But we now know he ended up in a Russian prison camp instead. Meanwhile, Max, who played by Sadie Sink, and her brother Billy, Billy was possessed by a creature, and he was also sort of meant to he sort of sacrificed himself to save the Upside Down and destroy the Mind Flayer, who attempted to eat
Oh,
most
of
of
course he is, Marie.
Hawkins.
He's talking shit.
And but ultimately, the gang kind of came together. They defeated the Mind Flayer. Billy's assumed dead. Hopper's assumed dead. The Briars family's distraught, and they move with 11. They take 11, move to a new town, basically separating the main cast, like 11 and the Winona Ryder character. I'm blanking on her names, but that family moves away. Joyce, thank you. And it
This
sets
is a
up the new
recap for a
season.
PhD thesis.
It's a PhD thesis
Both.
on how great. Your
I'm
hair
gonna
is.
type.
No.
Typed PJ.
And now here we are 6 months later after the battle at Starcourt Mall, where we pick up with our intrepid 80s heroes. That's where we are, folks. Thumbs up, PJ. You're ready.
Thumbs up,
We're back
PJ.
in it, buddy. You can come in.
You can come back.
Come in hot.
Hello, sir.
Drew's kids, when he gets older, when Miles gets older, the kid is going to be like, Dad, talking and just beat me, please. I'll take the corporal punishment.
Oh my
Jeez.
god.
Oh.
I mean,
I think
I
Miles
promise
will love
I
your
won't
stories.
beat my kids unless they deserve it. No.
Well, thank you for that, because I do think I need to watch it. I think I'm going to give it another try. Listen,
You should.
Game of Thrones, one of my favorite series, took me 3 times to get into it, and then I was an addict. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
Well, and I think here's the deal. Like, I think the first season is very youth driven. Like it's more of a kids show, but it has darker themes. The season 2 gets a little bit more like they bring in more adult characters. Like it's more focused around more of the adults as well, like older characters. So and then I think when you watch this new trailer, it even feels darker, like even more. Like the kids have grown up a little bit. So it seems like it's aging up with the audience a little bit, even though only like 6 months have gone by, which is kind of weird
Yeah, it's
because
supposed to be summer
the
of
kids,
86.
the kids look like they're like in their 30s now.
They've grown up so much.
So
Like
much.
you look
Yeah.
at season 1 and you look at season 4 and you're like, holy shit, where did time go?
Yeah.
Right.
It's so
Yeah.
tough when the kids get older, and they get older so much faster too.
so
right?
fast.
4
Yeah, wasn't
years
it-
when you're a teenager is a
It
lot.
was like one season, or when they went from like season 1 to season 2, I forget which character, but he looked like completely different. Like he grew like 4 feet bigger. It was like
Finn Wolfhard grew, and then Noah
Yeah.
Schnapp, who plays Will, grew a
Yeah.
lot.
yeah, grew
It's
up.
like that with Harry Potter. When you see the first Harry Potter and they're all cute and little, then they get older and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, throw this trailer up. Let's
All right,
do this.
all right,
do this.
let's do this. All right, I'm ready to press play in 3. Oh, hold on. Yeah, 3, 2, 1, play.
Count the Pellman drop. There it is. Ooh, and a little.
Yeah, so this is the aftermath of season 2.
Oh.
This looks like the gates of Mordor or something. What's happening?
Yeah, it's the butthole of Sauron.
Sauron.
This is a little Harry Potter looking. The
Oh.
black screen.
That was very
little
Game of
scary.
Thrones looking. The
Kids ain't
Night Walker
watching.
technique.
Aw.
I love her.
Now this looks like every horror movie starting in the
Dear
90s.
Billy, I don't know if you can even hear this.
Who's Billy?
Her brother.
Brother.
Who's she?
Ever since you left, everything
Came in season 2.
a total disaster.
It's so got the 80s
while,
movie
but we
vibe.
tried
And
to-
Yeah, yeah.
It's so got it, man.
I mean, look, like they're so much older now. How old
I
are they
know
supposed to be?
it's
They're
impossible.
trying to make her look younger with those bangs. Kind of shining vibe here.
Oh, that music.
Great song choice, man. Great song choice.
I relocated you guys far from Hawkins
Oh, Apollo Disco.
because I thought you'd be safe.
Oh shit.
So shit goes.
So right now I feel they're playing to the audience. Like the people that watched
I'm
it.
afraid your friends are
Like I'm like, yeah,
very
whatever.
much
There's a million different
in the
movies.
eye of
All
the
right,
storm.
man. Save the commentary.
This is very like Goonies.
I don't have my
Gives me Goonies vibes.
Yeah, very Goonies.
I don't know how to say this other than
What?
to say it.
What happened?
Is it because she's away from
Yeah, like right
Hawkins?
now, I'm out.
Can't
I'm not
win
watching
this
this.
war.
Yeah, this one here, I'm like, oh god, please be more fucking cliche. And then this starts.
The bats.
It's like House on Haunted Taylor to me. Look at that.
See you on the other side.
on the other side.
The upside down.
I was convinced I was put here for some other reason.
What did they do to
I
him?
can still help.
No.
Even if it's the last thing I do.
Hell yeah. Get him, Homer.
Is that D&D?
Say Hawkins is
Yeah.
cursed. They're
Oh
not
shit.
Oh
way
shit.
off.
happening?
Rub it in on.
It's time.
Oh my god.
What a sick solo.
What?
You have lost.
Who is
Oh.
that?
I don't know. It's like
I
the
don't like
bull.
the sound design for his voice, but he's
Holy
cool.
shit balls! Alright. Volume
Volume
1,
one.
May 27th. Volume 2, July
Yes.
1st.
Yeah, they're doing
And
3
that's just
episodes
season
and then
4.
dropping the other ones.
And that's
That
Okay.
I,
Shit.
you know, once he said when they said from see you on the other side, to me that's when the trailer got good. I mean, we're talking about trailers, of course. Yeah, up to it, it was very cliche in its delivery. And I don't know if they did that on purpose, trying to be that nostalgic, because they tend to really play their hand on that heavily. And it was, I bet you somebody's going to lay out every one of those shots from some movie or TV show from that time period. They probably match up. And then when they go see you on the other side, then for me, that's where it was like, ooh, maybe I do need to go back and
That's
watch
when
this.
the shit gets good. When they go to the upside down, that's when things like whenever they show it in the show, like that's I think the coolest part. So
Yeah. Yeah.
if you like that,
So,
you'll like the show.
and the Journey song, and then putting the solo in at that key moment. I mean, I thought as a trailer, it was well done.
Who is
Yeah,
it? Who
I
is it
agree.
playing the solo? Is that one of the characters? Like, it almost looked like Billy for 1 second, but I'm like,
It
it's
did.
not.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there looks like
he's
there's
a new
gonna.
character.
Oh, a
He's
new
is he?
character? Just
Yeah.
there are
soloing
some
it up
new
in the
ones in
fucking
season
upside
4.
down. You know what the upside down is missing? Some kicking solos.
Thrashing it on the other side.
Yeah,
like,
just
I mean, you're just,
thrashing it heavy metal
I
style,
mean,
man.
if you're gonna be in the upside down, you might as well rock a guitar solo, heavy metal guitar
Honestly.
solo, right? I
Fuck
mean,
It
yeah.
reminds me of Mad Max Fury Road and the random guy.
Yeah,
Just,
totally.
Like,
I mean, all he needs like a
singing.
flamethrower on the end of his guitar.
That's a good
and,
call
it would-
out, Steph. Good call out, yeah.
Wearing a Kiss mask.
I just hope it's like a battle of the bands. Like he has to play his guitar so like rough that it like destroys the demigorgons. You know, it's like
Yeah.
like the power of music saves the day.
Yeah, yeah.
What was
Whatever
that?
one
What
just
was that
comes and
Western
bites your
song
head
with the
off.
fiddle?
Yeah.
What was that where you had to go down and use the fiddle to beat the devil?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
What was that song called?
I forget.
Somebody in the chat's
Devil-
got
I
to
know
know it.
that.
The devil went down to Georgia.
Devil and John Georgia.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't know why I know that.
I mean, all right, Pagan. Steph, I want to go to you last. You're probably the biggest fan out of the four of us.
Good call.
Pagan, what was your initial thoughts? of
Well, so I
watching?
have been a fan of Stranger Things. Am I a massive fan of it? Probably not. Like I haven't been waiting for season 4. I haven't been on the edge of my seats for this. But this looks interesting. I like it. I like that it's pretty cliche, to be honest, PJ. I think the trailer is supposed to be like that because the rest of them have been, and there's definitely cliche like 80s.
Are you
tropes
saying you're
throughout
liking
this.
because you're trying to be nice? Because you kind of said it like, I like it. I like it.
No, I mean, like,
I like it a little bit.
Could I pass it up? Yeah. I could probably just not watch the season. I will watch it because I've watched the first 3. But I like that it's cliched. I think it's cool that because they've done that through the rest of the series as well, and you'll see like loads of classic 80s horror / teen horror flick like tropes in there. So that's kind of cool. It seems so weird. Like fucking Sadie's character is like Max is floating above the grave. That's weird to me, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Is that kind of like what happened to Will at the very beginning of the seasons, like the first season? So that's cool. I love that Hopper's not dead. Big plus. Yeah. I mean, look.
They
it
didn't have
looks-
Winona Ryder talk. That's good.
Yeah. Winona Ryder for me is like such a
I
hit
like
and miss
Winona
actor.
I
in-
loved
in
her. I
stuff.
had such a crush on her when I was a kid
really?
until she opened her mouth.
I love her.
Like I just have like such a love hate, and then I just think she's kind of odd, especially like at the whatever award ceremony that was when the Stranger Things won awards. Like she's like, you're kind of strange, lady, but she's
Yeah.
good, and in
She's
this
an
she's
author.
fucking excellent. So
Yeah.
yeah, this looks dark. I like that it's darker though. I think it looks far more interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I like as the show, like I was mentioning before, like when shows sort of grow up a bit, and I think they're kind of delivering on what we've all kind of wanted, which is a little bit more of the upside down. I feel like this series is this season, I don't know if it's part 1 or part 2, but we're going to see they're going to be inside the Upside Down a lot more, and they're going to be doing a lot more in the Upside Down, which is it's kind of like Game of Thrones, where you didn't quite get more of the White Walkers until later in the seasons. Now, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. Right? It could get too weird and wanky or whatever, but
Wanky?
wanky, wanky.
No, we say wanky in a different way.
Wanky, do you? All right, good. I'm not too weird on that. I mean, again, I hear you. I think it's a solid trailer. Like it's just dripping nostalgia, right? Which I'm all in on. Like the Journey song playing in the background. It's like some creepy. Like they remixed it. It's like even more eerie than the original.
Such a good music choice.
So great.
Yeah, it does a good job of like showing our heroes, like our family, and like there's it's like 4 disparate storylines. You got like Jim Hopper in Russia, you got like the Briars family in 11 in like California, you got the rest of the crew still in Hopkins, then there's like this the Upside Down, and now there's like this weird creepy like house that's kind of like with like seances going on or some shit going on, and
Looks like it's from the house.
Yeah, from the house. Yeah, it does actually. It looks like that exact same house almost. And there's like this weird clock that seems to be kind of like the centerpiece of it all. That might
Time is running out.
Yeah, well, yeah, and
That's
I
actually what
wonder.
thinking.
Yeah, and I wonder. We'll get into theories a little bit later, but I wonder if there's like some like time plays a big role in this. Is there like past, present, future things going on here, or
Ooh,
things
yeah.
that from the past that kind of come up to help us save the day? But and I love that D&D is still a big part of this. We see a shot of I think it's I forget, Dustin or Mike. They're wearing the Hellfire Club T-shirt, which is like an X-Men reference,
Yes.
which is super.
Is
dope.
that Robert Englund? Someone says it's Robert Englund's
It is.
character's house.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, Robert Englund. So Robert Englund is best known for playing Freddy Krueger in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Do you remember seeing that the first time? Do you remember?
Man. Yeah, that was.
I have not seen
Scared me
it.
shitless.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
scared of horror.
Yeah. So if you don't know,
movie
Yes,
theater for that
Fred-
one.
Yeah, so if you don't know, Freddy Krueger is like a character that kind of can attack you in your nightmares, like in your sleep. So when you fall asleep, he can like enter your dreams and then murder you in your dreams, and you die. And
What is it? Because he was burnt. The neighbors burnt him to death because he was some pedophile or something.
Oh, fuck him.
Is that how-
I
is that
was
how it
like,
went
that's
down?
mean. And then you were like, led it with the pedophile thing. Like, no, fuck him.
Pedophile, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Seems appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They burnt him to death. Oh, that's so sad because he was a
Yeah,
pedophile.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's where my
so
mind was
lead
going. I
with
was like,
that.
oh, how sad. So he's seeking revenge? Oh, no, he's just a fucking
Yeah. Yeah.
pervert. Okay,
Well,
great.
and each season kind of has like pays homage to like an 80s sort of theme. Like the first couple seasons, the first season was very Close Encounters of a Third Kind / ET. The second season, it kind of like
The
mixed and
80s
matched.
invaded.
What's that?
The 80s invaded in the second season. Like
Yeah,
Hawkins
yeah.
like was
Yes.
struck by like 80s hard.
Yeah.
But there's a lot there I saw. Like there was that what's that? The suburbs vibe. It had, it had definitely had the house vibe.
Yeah.
That one with where was the one where that Irish guy plays the vampire?
Irish guy plays it.
Oh,
he-
Queen of the Damned?
No, was it Queen of the Damned? No, is it?
Queen of
he's
the
a
Damned is
good-looking,
Stuart Townsend.
good-looking Irish guy. That is he Irish? He was in that movie you like, about Belgium, the Bridges or Briggs or whatever it's called.
Oh,
Fuck, I
sorry,
can't
in
remember.
Bruges?
Very famous guy.
Colin
Yeah,
Farrell?
what was the
Colin
Farrell? Did you ever see the movie where he in the '80s where he was a
Fright
vampire
Night?
living next door? Yeah, it was a Fright Night. Yeah.
No way. I
Matt
actually
Kaler-
haven't seen
Matt
that.
Kaler directed that. Well, yeah, and this season is supposed to
Fright
kind
Night,
of
yeah.
like the Duffer Brothers, who are the directors, said that this season kind of pays homage to Nightmare on Elm Street. So this is going to definitely have a more horror vibe. So I'm super excited about all that. But I kind of want to hand it off. I mean, I'm closer to Pagan. I'm a little bit more of a fan, probably than the Pagan and PJ. But I'm all into the kind of 80s vibe. That's kind of like I love it. When it came out, I was like nailed it. Like when this season came out, and I love the homage to like Spielberg and all that. So I'm in it for that. But like this, the story is sort of always hit and miss for me. But I want to hear from Stephanie. She's a big fan. She's got the shirt on and everything. Stephanie, break it down for us.
I'm
think?
excited. I mean, I think we've had to wait for so long, and it just it felt like forever. Like I remember watching the finale because I binged it, and then I was like, crap, now what am I gonna do? Like, you finish the season, and then you're waiting because you're like, is Hopper dead? Like, what happened? And then they released like an image, I forget when, or like a little clip, and you're like, holy shit. Like, so you knew like this season was gonna be good, but it's been forever. I'm
It's been forever
excited.
because of COVID, and then they
Yeah.
say that this is the toughest one they ever had to shoot, the most visual effects, the most practicals, and it just took time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But that's a long time. Do you think you lose an audience when you wait that long? It's 3 years.
Nah.
I think it depends. Like, if the content's good, then I think you're not going to lose anybody. But if it just like a total flop, then probably you're going to
Crown Royal
lose.
is going to be released in 2 bunches, May 27th and July 1st.
Yeah, and that's just
So you
season
get 3
4.
episodes, and then you got to wait.
And then they'll have a season 5.
And there's 9 episodes. There's 9 episodes in season 4, and then season 5 is the last season. So you know season 4 is going to be a giant cliffhanger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, every season kind of has a bit
Yeah,
of
it's true.
a cliffhanger, but yeah.
I'm excited for Robert Englund's character though,
Yeah.
because I've been always tossing around theories and stuff in my head, and we can get into that later. But going back to the trailer, like that mind flare character, like I personally think that that's like Subject 0 or Subject 1, like whoever that is, like I think they're
Oh yeah.
the cause, like for this whole chain of events. And I think Robert Englund's character is connected somehow to that guy, whether that's like a younger version of him or just some random guy, or
Yeah.
like
It's really
I'm-
nice though to see a classic horror icon in this.
He's done
That's really
good,
cool.
though. He's got it out from behind the mask, and he's done a lot. He's a pretty good actor, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've seen him in where he doesn't have a mask on. He's a good guy, good actor.
Yeah,
It's
he's
just a
good.
cool
Yeah,
touch
he-
as well, you know, and it's kind of like when Sean Astin was in season 3. Is that right? Season 3 or
Yeah.
season 2?
Oh,
Because they had so much, they had referenced like the Goonies, and it's very Goonies vibe as well.
Totally.
So having
Yeah.
like Sean Astin in it, I'm like, that's fucking cool, man. Like, it's really nice to have
Yeah.
these icons in the show.
Yeah, I was before we got on. I was saying like I think what I like most about
Season 2,
Stranger
sorry, thank
Things is the Duffer Brothers are very smart. They it's like they know they are the audience, so they know the audience that's watching this. It's like we know we need to bring in like Sean Astin here. Like if we can't get Sean Astin, like we're not doing season 2 kind of thing. Like it's like they know what we as fans of the 80s would want to see these characters being like given new light and playing a different type of character or a similar character to what they would have played in the 80s. So they're very smart and understanding the blending nostalgia and making it modern. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
I think that's a very hard line to do. I think a lot of remakes and reboots are trying to like capture that nostalgia, but they're not doing a very good job of like translating what us as viewers, us as fans of that time would want to see, but also making it modern enough for people and kids today to enjoy. So I think they've ridden that line very well, that it kind of like it bridges both worlds.
And the
pun
The
characters
intended.
are
nostalgia thing's tough. Sometimes I don't care for it. I find it lazy. Sometimes it's just they don't put any thought into it or give it the proper context, and they just rely completely on these sort of, it's like stunt casting, right? They're not really using the story. They're just relying. Oh, that's good. Oh, I remember that. Oh, and you see a lot of people do that. And when they do that, it's just, I'm like, I've been there. I bought that T-shirt. Like, then show me something new. I don't need that. But when I do watch Stranger Things, I'm looking forward to seeing how they use the nostalgia in its context.
lots of wigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you like it. I think you're gonna really like it. I do have to say though, going back to what you initially said, Drew, I think you've hit the nail on the head there with the clock and the significance of time, because we saw a lot of flashbacks here from, especially when 11 was in her, like when they were experimenting on her type of days, and I'm wondering, like, did they reshoot that, or is that stuff from the first season that they just never used and they had this plan all along? That's fascinating to me, because I'm like, because is she older in that clip? I can't really see. I don't know. So that's
She's gotten a lot older looking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but-
think I was definitely
Yeah.
when she was younger.
Yeah, so I'm
think
wondering,
there
like,
was
have they filmed it with this in mind? Like, have they stuff in season 1? Did they film all that knowing that they're going to use it now in season 4?
Yeah,
I think
that's
so.
a
They
good
had to
question.
really, is it the same showrunners from the beginning? Because that'd be a long
It
time to
is.
hold
It
on to
is,
that
yeah.
story arc. So then they may
think
have
so.
that in their head
Yeah.
to get there.
Maybe.
Yeah. No, the Duffer Brothers have like championed it. Like they're they have a series Bible that's kind of gone viral on the internet of how they pitch this show to Netflix, and it's very like they've even like the Bible looks like a 80s sort of like choose your own adventure
Oh,
kind of novel. Yeah, it's very
I'd be
cool.
impressed as
Great.
hell though if they shot that in season 1 to save for season 4.
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know.
I'd
They
be
probably
impressed
just
as hell.
it just looked really cool in the
Yeah.
trailer, and I'm like, oh, I really wonder if that's like a long-term plan. Because if it is, fuck, like that's
Yeah,
cool.
right.
I'm like so
Yeah.
down for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took some press photos of myself back in the 80s, which I'm going to use maybe in 2 or 3 years. I was getting ready,
Nice.
thinking by 2025 I might be famous and I might need a PR shot. So I took some younger ones so I
Might
didn't have
be
to do all the Photoshop.
definitely
You will
Definitely.
definitely. Yeah.
I was thinking ahead. Good
Yeah.
25-year plan.
Good.
nice.
It's a good. That's
It's
a
a
good
good shout.
plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Solid
You stay on that plan. Don't deviate. Don't deviate, BJ. Stay the course. Stay on target. Yeah. Well, and so if you hadn't, there was the big build up to the trailer too, just to signify the clock's importance. There was a countdown to the video, this trailer launching, and it was a live stream of they set that clock in like. I think it was Santa Monica because they texted like coordinates, and I think somebody like put the coordinates in Google, and it was in like Santa Monica. So and there was like this clock, like in the middle of a street, and the scientists had roped it off, and like these like the scientists were kind of like analyzing the clock, and it was like a 10-hour live stream of these scientists kind of just analyzing this, and which is crazy. I mean, like what a cool viral stunt, and there was like cool sound design, like the clock face would twitch and glitch, and like you'd hear like Demogorgon noises coming from it. So
When does it become a cliche and what makes it a cliche? Because when you think about it, somebody had to do it first and do it so well that everybody had to copy it. You think of Citizen Kane and Orson Welles, all the different camera techniques and lens choices that he used and different types of staging and framing that he used. If you go back and watch Citizen Kane right now, it is a plethora of cliches. But then you sit there and you go, oh, no. This is the first time this was ever done. So some of the stuff that we pull back from the 80s, what's the movie that set it? Was it E.T.? Like what set that
Stephen King,
that first look that people really like, and then it went from there. Like, is it E.T.? Was it Nightmare on Elm Street? Was
wasn't
that, or
gonna
is
say.
it, did Jason, did Halloween set the horror? Like what was the one that started that look for them? What's that 80s quintessential film that everybody copied?
well, yeah, I'll jump in. I think E.T. sort of set the stage. E.T. and Goonies, both Spielberg films.
Goonies?
Really,
Goonies,
yeah,
yeah.
really.
What
set the-
about Stand By Me? Was that before or after?
I think that was after Goonies.
that
I could
after?
be I could be wrong. But I here's the deal. Spielberg, what he was able to do and the way he shot his
After. Sorry.
the way he shot his films, he was very like he's big on kind of like if you watch like breakdowns of like how he uses like cameras. He's very clever at how he stages cameras and the way they like for two shots and stuff like that, to where you feel like you're close to these people, where like I think prior it was like people were very big on like dolly shots and far away, and Spielberg was more in the push-ins.
Yeah, I love Spielberg, but that was all Janusz Kaminski. Spielberg did not shoot without that guy, without that DP. He was insane.
Yeah, but he has that
And when he
vision
did,
of what he
when
wanted
he
to
did,
accomplish.
I don't know, buddy. Look at
Yeah.
Janus's film work. Look at Saving Private Ryan. Like it's all.
Again,
they
after-
even made his own lenses with Panasonic to do that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big debate. Me being a camera guy.
Yeah,
You know what I
hear
mean?
you.
It's
no, the DP brings a lot. I'm not going to discount that. Yeah, absolutely. The
Yeah.
DP
But
brings
it
a lot.
definitely had, for me, Spielberg, it's always about where he keeps the camera. It's like the way he stays on the people longer. Like you even saw that shot with the girl 11 in the car, and it's that long, slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's that, to me, that's Spielberg, and just waiting with that character, and then those intimate moments that he captures when you think about E.T. with the finger he brings a real human element to me. But was there one before E.T.? Was there a movie of that style before? What did Spielberg do
I think-
before E.T.?
Jaws.
Was
Yeah.
that literally went from Jaws to E.T.?
We'll look it up.
Close Encounters.
Somebody-
He did Close Encounters before E.T. So I
Close
think it was
Encounters,
Jaws,
is it got that
Close
neighborhoody
Encounters.
vibe?
Also, like Stephen King, though, I think they have a lot of like from all
Very
like
Stephen
King's.
King,
Yeah.
but more from a storytelling, less from a film. Look,
Like
yeah,
an
very,
inspiration. Yeah.
Yeah.
storytelling
Yeah.
inspiration. But there's also a lot of like when you think about just nerd culture that's been infused into this. Like arcades are a big part of this. D&D. It's really leaning into like the things that like we now appreciate as like nerd culture that back then weren't cool, but now are cool. Like going to the arcade was not cool back in the 80s. Like everybody was into cars and BMX biking and shit like that. So you were a nerd if you went to an arcade.
Yeah.
And same thing if you were playing D&D, like you were ostracized, right? So, you know, if you weren't on the basketball team, you know, you're like, who's that kid? Who's the weird kid playing D&D? So, but now it's cool to do that. You have like Critical Role,
Yeah.
which has made it like culturally relevant. And now, you know, you have a show that's showing these kids, these nerdy kids that, or, you know, back in the day would have been just, you know, like the kids shoved in lockers, and now they're saving the world. So, and it's kind of you know, in a way, it's kind of a nice story too, which goes back to kind of a Spielberg thing. It's sort of like the nerdy kids, like it's like Goonies, right? Like those kids were just a bunch of nerds, and then you had Josh Brolin's character, who was like the jock that kind of like got tagged along and made fun of all the kids for being nerds,
Steve
right?
Harrington.
Yeah. Yeah, the Steve Harrington, who now in this show
Or like
becomes,
now he's different.
yeah, and now he's different. Now but he was kind of a nerd
grown.
jock though. Like there's like a scene with Steve when he's doing the lightsaber or whatever, and they're kind of he's kind of nerding out with what's his face, Dustin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm super interested. I hope it doesn't get too hokey. Like the guy coming down on tentacles is giving me Borg Queen from Star Trek vibes. I know that's a nerd reference the rest of you guys won't get, but
Yeah.
It's a classic
like
like
his
trope
audio.
thing though, right? Like it's like something with tentacles or whatever, and they're like the center person is just like lowering into the frame, and
It's the
that's-
part
Yeah.
of the mind
yeah,
flayer.
yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Friday
who's
the
that
Third
actor?
Crown Royal.
Do we know? Do we
What-
know
what
who's
was the
playing the evil Demogorgon thing? You know?
I don't.
I don't
think we
know. It looks like a
do.
man. So
Yeah,
it
I'm so
kind of,
interested
like,
because I feel
smashed
like
one
it's
of my
going to be
theories.
someone big and they're hiding it. I think they're hiding it. And
Robert
I think it's somebody
Englund.
different.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
like there's gonna
I'm
be a
happy
big
to see
reveal.
him in it, but I don't think he's going to be the villain.
Or I'm sorry, wait, hold on. Who's playing his younger version in the show? Hold on 1 second.
Hold please.
Hold please,
Victor. his
Crown Royal
character-
was.
Oh,
Victor. Sorry.
We done?
Oh no, you can go, PJ. You can go. Sorry.
Here you go.
Crown Royal is asking, same thing with Friday the 13th. Was that influenced by anything before? Did Friday the 13th start all those slash and gash? I mean, you
Jason
had
and
Halloween.
Jason and
Was that the
Friday.
first
yeah,
one?
Halloween was prior to both of those, I believe.
Halloween was, so then I would
I
give it to
believe so.
Halloween then.
But
And
it was-
then you
but it
had
wasn't as
Texas Chainsaw
hokey.
Massacre.
Yeah, Texas Chainsaw, and I think that actually came before as
the-
well.
yep.
But those were really different. They were both Halloween and Texas Chainsaw are different types of movies. Where Jason and Friday, they took it to like the action movie level of like horror. Does that make sense? It was more like bombastic. Where Halloween and Texas were very raw and very sort of like like gritty. Almost like super low budget. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they were. Toby
and like,
Hooper.
Yeah.
It was super low budget.
Yeah. So it was sort of like taking horror to sort of like a bigger budget with Jason and especially Friday the 13th. I thought was like because the set pieces when you were inside the person's mind and like like the claws, his claws would come through the bed and like it just felt more like wild.
I was so into horror then I watched everything I could get my hands on. Do you remember Hellraiser?
Oh my god.
Fuck, I love that, man.
Fuck that
Pinhead.
movie.
I saw
just
maybe
love that.
5 minutes of that and had
Yeah.
nightmares for a very
Have
long
you ever
time.
seen Have you ever seen a movie called Dark City?
Oh yeah, dude, Dark City's awesome.
Fuck, that's a good movie. That's a
a
great
good-
director.
Yeah.
And
Actually,
that
I wanna go
movie.
watch that again.
I love that movie. That was
Dude,
such a good movie.
Dude, if you guys are watching, then go watch Dark City. It's more of like a film noir, like sci-fi
Oh,
thing, but there's
Dark
very like
City.
it's also like horror elements. It's very cool.
And it has Connolly in it.
1998.
does
Jennifer
have Jennifer.
Connelly, Kiefer Sutherland.
oh,
Yeah,
Rufus
it's
Sewell.
super
Okay.
it's super cool.
Oh yeah, Alex Proyas is the director. I love him.
Myself and Stephanie out here like, did you watch the latest Disney movie?
Yeah.
Hard not
How about
acting,
Turning
guys.
Red?
Yeah,
Right.
we don't talk about Bruno.
We don't talk
Yeah.
about Bruno.
I found that actor's name. So we're gonna get to see, I guess, like a younger Victor Creel, which is Robert Englund's character,
Oh, okay.
and his backstory. And the guy who's playing the younger version of him is Kevin L. Johnson. So that's who I think is in the
Oh,
in
interesting.
the
Like a
center
younger.
makeup.
Oh.
Oh, well, how would he be younger, but in the Upside Down, but then the other older version of?
I think it's just kind of like similar to like how like I think time is a factor. He could have been
Okay.
stuck,
Yeah.
like maybe split and stuck, or like one of the theories that I had was because I was trying to figure out how does this all come back to Dr. Martin Brenner or Papa, and
Right.
and it's in Hawkins. Like Elle mentions that she doesn't have her powers, and I think you mentioned it, Pagan. Like you feel like maybe, or I think somebody mentioned it.
It's that she's
Powers are
away.
connected or centered in
Yeah.
Hawkins. Like so, wherever that force is, I think it's in
Oh, okay,
Yeah, I
Hawkins,
agree.
and that's like the heart.
that makes sense.
So-
Like, so she has to be close to the Upside
She has to
Down
be
in a
close to the
way,
source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
source, in
Yeah.
order for her powers to kind of. Well, and it makes sense that they have to nerf her, right? Otherwise, she's very like she can basically like with her mind take out any of
everything.
the Upside
Yeah.
Down character, right? So they kind of have to give her like make her vulnerable, so it doesn't. So it feels like
Yeah.
there's stakes again. Otherwise, it's like send an 11, she'll take care of it.
Yeah.
So that, which is smart, like from a storytelling perspective. And I do like, I think what's really cool too, and I always like this when they split our heroes apart and they kind of have to find their way back. And then
Yeah.
it's kind of like Avengers, right? When they kind of are back together, and you're like, yeah, the team's back together. Let's do this. Like it kind of makes it super exciting. When they finally are all the whole crew's back together. I am a little bit worried though. Like they keep adding like main characters. Like every season, I feel like there's like
Yeah.
17 new characters that they've like that are like have actually storylines that they are adding to the story, and I'm like, holy shit! Like, can we start killing off people so we can come back down to like our
I think
our
they are
core
going to kill off
our
someone.
Yeah,
core
I think they
people?
will.
Yeah,
I think they're going to kill off maybe like someone big, whether that's like Joyce or Hopper
Ooh.
finally does die. Like I think
Yeah.
someone's going to experience loss. But
hope-
I also
yeah.
I'm waiting for Dr. Martin Brenner to come back because he's alive. Like and they confirmed it.
Yeah.
Showrunners did it. So it's like where is he? And like I don't know. And like Victor Creel is in like a psychiatric hospital and like they're talking like I think Nancy and why am I blanking on her name? Hawk's character. Oh shit.
Hawk?
Maya Hawk's character.
Maya Hawk's. Yeah, what's her character's name?
uh,
Why am I blanking on it?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
I had
Yeah,
it written
blanking.
down.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't matter. I mean
But-
but you're saying it's sort of like you think
find
the big bad villain
Robin,
is still sort
sorry.
of
And kind
Robin.
of like Silence of the Lambs
Robin.
kind of vibe. Like I feel like like
Ooh,
I was
yeah.
getting kind of like that from that shot that I've seen.
Yeah.
But I'm curious. Like I think I was reading stuff and they were saying like things are really going to start to connect. So how is this going to connect? And I
Yeah.
hope this character doesn't get this Mind Flayer character doesn't get cheesy because I've always wanted somebody to be like a person to be behind that character to personify it, but I
Yeah.
wasn't
Well, I think
expecting it to be that cheesy.
the Mind Flayer was the big tentacle mega monster from season 3, right? Like so D&D always plays a big role in like how they name their bad guys, which is great. So they always take like a villain from like whatever role playing I guess role playing arc they're playing. So this new season, so they'll probably name this big bad, like the guy that comes down from tentacles, like something from one of their D&D campaigns, and somehow it always lines up that from the D&D campaign, its weaknesses in the game are the same weaknesses or powers that it has in the show. So it's very like 1-to-1, which is great. Driving back, and then I was reading too. I guess the Creel, Victor Creel, who Robert Englund is playing. The house is the Creel house, so like his family, I guess. So like that house plays a big part into what's going to kind of come together. The clocks in the house, apparently, it's also like teleporting into like the high school. So, I mean, guys, there's a lot going on here. I mean, if any of our CouchSoup members want to come in and help us break down this trailer, I mean, there's probably stuff we're missing. There's a lot going on in this trailer. They really break it down. If you're a member, you can go to CouchSoup.com, click on our community circle. We have a link in there where you can come call into our show. We'd love to have you on to kind of like break this down even further. It's man. I mean,
Steph
PJ,
has a theory,
are you? Oh, okay. Go, Steph. Go. Break it down.
Quickly, I think
theory.
so. My whole thought has
theories.
been that it all somehow connects back to Martin Brenner.
Okay.
So
Okay.
my first theory before I saw the trailer was that he had 2 children and they were number 1 and number 2, and then number 1 is a mind flayer and blah 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 blah. Like, so because I was trying to find a way for how this started because they've never really talked about 1 and 2, but I still think I feel like maybe Victor Creel's character is number 1 still, but I don't know if
Like
maybe
number 1 as in like
the
number
first
1.
subject,
Subject,
the
okay.
first subject, number
Yeah.
1. And I think either maybe he's brothers with Dr. Martin Brenner, and maybe he changed his name to kind of like miss that connection. Because we are going to get to see younger, and age-wise, maybe it's feasible. I'd also wondered if maybe like the really far-fetched theory is it's a child, or like the son of Victor Creel is actually yeah, like I'm trying to figure out who it could be because it's obviously a guy. Like there's
You think so? I mean, I don't know.
I
It's
think
pretty,
so.
It's pretty,
Looking
it's
at
pretty
the
anamorphic.
features.
Like it doesn't have any sort of
That's
like.
sexist.
Yeah. There's really no like discerning element. I mean, it definitely has like a beefier sort of like look, right? But yeah, I
It
agree.
has
I
like a
mean, it's
similar look
probably
to that, like that Nightwalker or whatever they were called in Game of Thrones.
White
Yeah,
Walker.
it
The
does.
White Walker.
Yeah.
Like it has a very similar kind of facial structure to that, though. So that's
Probably the same actor.
Maybe it's
Yep,
them.
probably.
It's
That guy just
crossover.
likes to be put in
Ooh.
prosthetics.
It's a
Oh, yes.
multiverse, like a glitch in the multiverse.
Holy
Glitch
shit.
in the yeah. God
So
damn
I
multiverse.
think, yeah, I think it all goes back to like I think maybe the experiments started at the psychiatric hospital. Like the idea grew
They always
there,
Mhm.
and then they moved to a more private
Right.
facility, and they found all these kids. Like, I'm just curious, like, and why children? Like, why are children being affected?
Well, probably
'Cause
because
they'll do anything for candy.
yeah. Oh, no, I mean, Jesus, PJ knows from. Wait a minute. You got rid of that van, right? That white van with the windows.
With the
Seems
free
like it.
candy on the side.
Yeah.
Free candy on the side.
Is
You got
that
rid
the
of that.
van that was
Seems
outside my
legit.
window?
Yeah.
I used to leave it outside the neighborhood. Didn't have to do anything at Halloween. It was the best.
It was the
Oh
best.
Jesus.
What, Stephanie? How do the Russians play in it? Like, it seems like the Russians continue to kind of like ever
True,
since, like,
good
at least
point.
last season.
I
kinda
think that's
come-
where he's been hiding. I think that's where the doctor's been hiding.
Okay.
I think somehow they're working together. I don't know why they have the Demogorgons, like, and they're having what do you call it? It's kind of like they look almost like they're kept in cages and then used for like fighting. So like you're like it seems
like a
there's,
cage
like,
match with a Demogorgon. If you
Yeah.
could live,
with the people,
You
like
oughta-
with prisoners versus like the
Like a
exactly
gladiator
like,
situation.
for the experiments.
only,
Yeah.
only
all for
Hopper
science.
would be like, I'm gonna create a flaming spear to take these bastards down.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah,
Who
Hopper.
knows?
Yeah.
I just don't know
It's
how
funny,
he would get there. Like, how he would get caught. Like, and I don't want to spoil it.
But
But, like,
the thing is, though, like I feel like the guy you're talking about, like the Papa character, maybe he and Hopper will sort of like run into each other in this like Russian prison camp or wherever they are. I think that's probably more likely that he's not helping the
Yeah.
Russians, that he was just captured by them and is now their prisoner.
Oh, interesting.
be.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I feel like it's sort of like the Russians sort of like, we want whatever power that the U.S. wants, and it's sort of like they're sort of trying to tap into what they're not helping the situation, I guess, in some way, right? They're sort of like just offhandedly sort of utilizing what we like the Americans have, or maybe they have like a, to your point, maybe there's like a center point in America, but maybe there's the opposite point in Russia that
Kinda like
has like a
poles.
is a portal.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, so they have a portal too that kind of they can tap into to the upside down. So
That's a
yeah, I
great
don't know.
theory.
It's interesting like how they kind of keep the Russian, like why put Hopper in a Russian prison for an entire season, what looks like an entire season, like he doesn't look like
Yeah.
he's with any of the characters.
Have they hinted at that before though? That the Russians
They-
have an upside down as well? No?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
feel like
why
that seems
take
so
over the
familiar.
mall? Why take
Yeah.
over the mall in Hawkins?
I don't think they have. Like, I think
Maybe
up
not.
until the end of season 3, everything was just in Hawkins. Everything was just the lab, and like it was much smaller.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
then
okay.
randomly, like as soon as you find out like that there's this military base underneath the mall, I think that's when it switched or it grew.
Sure.
I know we're talking about cliches, but you know, always the other side, the darker side, the hell, it's always like fire and brimstone. I've always wondered if it was just a big joke and this is actually hell right now is hell.
Right.
And it's like a sentence, right?
Does
You
feel
only
like
have maximum of 104 years here. Like that's the most sentence you can be handed to spend it in hell, which is earth. And then when you die, you go back up to heaven. And the thing is, here's the trick: the more the more popular you are down here in hell, the longer you get to stay in heaven. So like Jesus and Elvis, like they are hooked up, man. They are never leaving heaven. And then when you come back down here, like lawyers and agents, like they're the demons, right? Like they're trying to work against you or push their own person up because I don't know, it's an interesting concept. I think it should be a movie or something. I'm just saying.
We're in a bad place,
Good place.
folks.
And the book starts off, some guy wakes up and he knows it, he realizes, and the book starts off, he's like, I remember the first time I died. Because like those people that they'll do anything in life and they're nobody remembers them, like they die and they come right back, right? Like you're here like instantly.
Ooh.
Back to hell.
Back
And
to
it's
hell.
here. There's
Pitch
no
that
fire and
shit,
brimstone.
bro. Ain't you an Emmy Award-winning producer? Pitch that fucking shit.
I is.
Write it down, pitch it. God damn it. Get that shit
Yes.
copyrighted. No one in chat take this idea.
No one,
Right?
please.
Damn it! I wish we weren't on the internet live right now.
Yeah,
Someone
God.
just steal that.
Thank God we're not
Watch,
broadcasting to
10 years
thousands
from
of
now, I'll be
people.
there with my wine going, that was my idea. That was mine.
Pitch
Son of a
ideas with
bitch.
TJ.
See?
Crown
Listen,
Royal.
people
It's a
already,
new
people already,
podcast.
Your idea, Josh Whedon already stole your show. Your idea.
Oh, yeah.
people
it's an
already
angel.
stole their ideas. 2 men and a kilt.
That's fair.
I do have one more question before we wrap up. It's interesting that they are breaking this up into 2 chapters as they are, right? Like Ozark recently did this on Netflix. Is this Netflix's way of trying to stay in the conversation longer, right? So every other network, even Apple, even Amazon, all the other streaming services are now back on the kind of like we're releasing our show weekly, right? Like they'll sometimes release 2 or 3 right at the beginning, but then they're on a weekly schedule. And it seems like when you look at shows, especially like Marvel or something, it stays in the cultural relevance longer because people are continuing to write reviews per episode or breakdowns, where Stranger Things in the past has dropped all at once. The whole season of 8 or 12 episodes drops and you binge it and then it's over, right? In a weekend. Basically, it's like you have about a week of like everyone talking about it and then it's like, oh, well, we'll wait till next season to see what happens.
So they have data from surveys, and I know how much you love surveys. Netflix has data from surveys that states that when a movie or a TV series is released in segments instead of being binge dumped, that when the show is good, the talk builds excitement and brings larger audiences into the realm. So this is their attempt on trying to bring the audience in for Stranger Things, according to Netflix.
And they've done it before, I think, with The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I think they had I forget which season, but they had split it in two because I remember getting like a few episodes and you're like, oh man, I just finished this. Like,
I don't mind one a week. Honestly, I don't mind that because otherwise you spend too
think
much
it's
time
good.
watching
Nah, I'm
television.
fucking spoiled. I want to binge watch that shit. I want to binge watch.
Right, so
season
put it
2.
out one at a time. Put it out one at a time, one a week, and then you wait
Yeah.
a little extra longer. You
No.
wait 12
Yeah,
weeks
but then you're not
before
part
you
of
get
the
the next one.
conversation. See, it's a double-edged sword, right? Like it's sort of like you don't
know.
want spoilers, right? So it's like, how do you stay off the
Yeah.
internet for 8 weeks while the show is airing so you can binge
Mm-hmm.
it? And it's impossible. So you end up like hearing about like, oh my god, did you hear so and so died on the internet? And you're like, ah, shit, I should have just watched it. And
Yeah.
but then you have to like, then you're
What's the most you've ever binge watched?
The most?
I don't know, like at least an entire season of something on
At one
I mean, I
sitting.
binged-
At
Well,
one
not at
I
one
sitting.
finished
sitting.
season 2
Not on one
of Stranger
sitting.
Things in one sitting.
Yeah, in one
You
sitting.
did?
like,
You
season
watched
2
all of
was
season
the
2 in
whole
one
season.
The
sitting?
night it released, it
Yeah.
released, it came out like it was like I think it was Halloween night at midnight, and I sat there because like there weren't any college parties that night, so I was just sitting there. I'm like, okay, I'll watch this, and I finished it, and then the next day, I was like, I need to talk to my friends about it. I'm like, did you watch it? And nobody had watched it, and like it took forever
Yeah,
until
that's the
somebody watched it. And I
problem.
was like, come on.
Yeah, that's the problem. I'm a binge person for
So-
sure, though. Like I see Matt in the chat. It's like I'm not a binge person. I am. I don't want my episodes released on a weekly basis. Like For All Mankind coming out on Apple every like week. I'm like, bro, don't do this to me, because each episode
Yeah.
like almost leaves with a small cliffhanger. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah,
So I think
I
I'm
think-
When I
spoiled
was a
with
teen-
streaming services, so I would rather it.
Yeah.
When I was a teenager, I'd go to my first multiplex and I'd buy the one ticket and I knew where all the doors were and I had the whole time schedule in my pocket and I would just spend the whole day there just sneaking in and out to different movies. Sometimes I'd missed half of this one, so I'd have to watch the front half and then wait or
Yeah.
and piece it all together. And then I went home and when it was dark.
Yeah.
That was that's old school binging.
I've done
I
that
think-
nowadays, but
Great.
like with an unlimited
You
card.
have?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It's
with
an
an
unlimited.
unlimited
It's an
card?
unlimited card
What-
though. So
so
like,
it's actually
That's
legal.
no-
it's
it's
a
not-
subservice.
yeah,
So I was
yeah.
like, fine.
Watching 8 movies on one ticket, now that's fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think that goes back to like kind of like where you are or where you are in life or your life situation, right? Because I used to be a binger, right? I used to be like, fuck yeah, like let's binge the shit out of this show this weekend, whatever came out. But now, you'd have a kid, you grow up, you have work or whatever, you're busy. Now I'm kind of like thankful that things are on a weekly cadence, so I can be like, okay, I feel caught up kind of because I watched 2 episodes of whatever this weekend. And now I don't feel like the stress of being like, oh my God, I'm 15 episodes behind on something or whatever. So I feel like I kind of like the drip of the weekly over the binge.
You make a good point though as well, because it does save you from spoilers if you don't have time to binge the season. You'd be like,
Yeah.
well, at least it's not gonna be spoiled on me because it's coming out next week.
Yeah. Yeah. But so I'm sort of wondering if we're going to see more Netflix do this more part 1, part 2 kind of thing, just to kind of stay in the cultural,
I'm so
the
spoiled.
relevance more. I mean, because
Yeah.
the longer something runs, the more people are talking about it, right? In culture, right? When you think about people writing articles and news coverage and interviews and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
would you rather have 8 to 10 weeks of coverage or a week and a half, 2 weeks where everyone's just talking about the whole season
Is there
as a
also-
whole?
Is there well, maybe there isn't. Maybe people just have it anyway. But like, is there also an issue where if it all drops, say, on the one day in May, people can just buy the month of May, basically a 30-day subscription, and then they cancel?
Oh yeah.
Is
Yes.
that a factor
Yeah.
too? Like,
I
people
think
are just
so,
like,
yeah.
I want you to keep on for at least 3 months, so we're gonna release this
Right.
in 3 sections. You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think so. I
That
think
would
I think they've seen major drop off when like a major show launches. People binge the hell out of it for a month, and then they're like, I'm
don't
going back
resell.
over to Amazon or Apple or Peacock or whatever the fuck
Especially
they're
during
called.
COVID where you just did
Yeah, you
nothing
just
but
had
watch
time.
TV sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
point. See, I didn't know. Like, I mean, I think Netflix is pretty reasonably priced, and maybe I assumed more people have it than they do. But because of the massive like amount of competition out there with Amazon, Apple, and all the sorts of streaming services, that maybe they'll just be like, yeah, I fucking love Stranger Things. I'm gonna buy it for 30 days, and then I'm gonna cancel.
Yeah.
Maybe
I,
that's the
th-
thing.
I PJ hates when I extrapolate based on my experience, but I feel like most people are like us in the household where it's sort of like Netflix is the staple. You just always have a Netflix, and then you
Yeah.
kind of bounce between the other ones. It's like Apple TV's putting on a lot of good stuff right now. Like let's get that, and like or let's cancel Apple and do Hulu or whatever or or HBO Max or something. So where we kind of can we're not we don't have 15 streamings, but we have like 2 or 3 that we kind of like interchange and do or whatnot. But I don't know. But I think Netflix is sort of like the one everybody just keeps, and then they just steal everyone else's passwords.
Yeah, for now.
You don't want to know what I do.
PJ's password is.
No, don't incriminate yourself on the internet,
We
PJ.
do need to call this short, though. We have a meeting we have to go to.
We're not really.
So
I mean, we're
wrap
we're
this
we're at
up.
wrapping time. We do. We have meetings. We're important people.
Wow,
Important
what's
people.
that like?
I gotta call. I gotta go pitch that idea while we're on the.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll set it.
I've already contacted several people about it.
Yes. Yes. Spielberg's calling. Hold on.
Oh.
Don't play me like this.
How nice.
Don't play me like this.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, Steven,
us
I'll
know.
call you back. I'm in the middle of
I'll
something.
call you
Don't
back.
forget, come over to CouchSoup.com, sign up, become a member.
Yes.
It's free. If you love us, give us some money and be a better member.
I will
Hit the
pop
likes,
link in here.
subscribe, all that good shit. We got
All that
lots
good
of
shit.
stuff coming.
Yeah.
And we love you guys. We
We
really
sure do.
Yeah, we do. We love you. Get Good's coming back this Sunday. Get excited for Get Good coming back. Liam and Todd are back. We have a special surprise for Sunday. I don't want to spoil it. I'll wait. Maybe we'll spoil it later today. Maybe with a teaser or tomorrow.
Shapes?
Yeah. Is
Yeah,
it shapes?
shapes.
Is it more shapes? Yes.
I was
And then
just about to blurt it out. And then
Don't
I
you
realized,
dare.
oh, maybe I shouldn't do that.
And then you can always listen to us at as a podcast wherever you find your podcast. We're on all those channels. So thanks again, everybody, for joining us. Thanks, Stephanie, Pagan, and Grouchy Pants,
It was
PJ.
fun nerding out.
That was fun nerding out.
It was fun.
I hope you guys let us know what you think about Stranger Things in the comments or on CouchSoup.com. I'm sure there will be articles written about it. If I'm not writing them, I'm going to make Stephanie write them,
Yes.
or someone else.
Steph should totally. Like
Steph
she has
should
free
totally.
time.
Like you have any free time to do anything, Stephanie.
Just add it to the schedule.
Yeah, totally. All right.
All right, everybody. Be good.
gotta
We
run.
love you. We'll see
Bye,
you next
everybody.
week.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.